What's up guys, it's Trevor with Embers Living. Today we are talking Infratech heaters. So probably one of the biggest questions that we get is how many do I need and where should I put them and what size should I get? So a lot of clients need help designing the space with the heaters so they can heat their space appropriately. I'm going to show you how to size it and show you what's important to think about when you're doing your planning. As always, you can call us. We're the experts here. We can just help you and take that step away and do it for you. But if you like to do your homework at home, late at night when you're watching Netflix and chill or whatever, I'm gonna teach you how to do it. Let's go. All right, I'm gonna fire these up so these can turn on and warm up. Not that you need to see the warmth in the video, but might as well get a little toasty while we're talking. All right, first order of business. If you're interested in heaters, outdoor kitchens, fire pits, you're doing your full patio or whatever, give us first shot at the business. If you like what you're learning on this channel, you like the way you're being educated from our videos, if you give us first stab at the business, it helps us support the channel and be able to continue to make awesome videos and helpful videos just like this one. If you're in the Denver, Colorado area, you can come to our showroom today, subscribe, like, do all the things. All right, so my salesmen shy away from heaters because they're hard to understand. Homeowners shy away from putting in heaters because they're hard to understand. Here's the biggest thing. They're not hard to understand. They're very easy. It's just kind of hard to wrap your brain around it, so to speak. So if you want to know how to control them, things like that, I have a separate video. I'll include a link below because I'm not really going to get into controls too much in this video. I'm just going to tell you, can these actually heat your space? And if so, how do you design it and how many do you need for it to adequately heat your space? And that's what we're talking about, because there's nothing more frustrating than spending money on patio heaters and not being able to heat your space. You know, you drop a couple grand and you're still cold and you can't use them. That's annoying. So we got to make sure we're sizing you guys right. So first, I have the website pulled up. We're going to look at some examples. I always like to talk about lifestyles. So let's focus more on what the space is used for. That can kind of give me some good context of what type of power we're going to be needing. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Let's say there's a garage, a CrossFit gym where you're working out and getting all sweaty. Well, because you're active, you probably aren't going to need it quite as hot. Is it a sitting space? Are you just sitting there? We're going to need extra heat, not moving a lot. Okay, well now we need more heat. Is it covered? Are there curtains? You know, slide down shades. Is it over a cooking space? Is it over a dinner table? You know, these are all questions we need to know. Is there other heaters? Is there a fireplace? Is there a fire pit? All of these things help build context to your particular situation. So you got to think about the use of the space. That's really important before we get into that. All right. So the next thing I mentioned is, let's just go through the model. So we essentially have like the slimline single element model here, and this comes in different widths. And then we have the CD or the dual element models, and this also comes in the different widths. Now I'm going to talk widths in a minute and how you know which head that you need. So the first thing I like to know, is it covered, and does it have like slide down shades or curtains? Why is that important? Covered patios with slide down curtains are really going to trap heat a lot more. So that's going to size us a little bit differently because we're not exposed to the elements. We don't have wind, or we have the potential to block wind because wind will take away some of that heat, not all of it, but some of it. So those are all important things on how we should size it. So that's the first thing I like to ask. The second thing I want to know, and this is really important, is what height are they being mounted at? So for example, if you look over here, so for example, if we click on this here, what is this height from here to here? So essentially, how high are we mounting them? Is it 10 feet? Is it under 8 feet? Because that's going to make a difference essentially on how we size these heads. Also, is it a place we're standing? Maybe this is a guy right here standing by his barbecue. See how good my drawing is? Now you're standing under your barbecue. How high is it from the top of your head to this heater in a place that you typically stand? Over here, we're sitting, right? This guy has one leg, I guess. See, even though they're mounted at the same height, the height that you enjoy them at is different. So that affects how powerful we want these. Now, why do we need to know the height? Essentially, the higher up that they are, okay, the wider or the biggest we want to go. So this is the CD60, the 60 inch. Basically, a good rule of thumb is once we're around 10 feet or higher, we want the 60. I would say between 8 and 9 feet, you could do the CD40 or the CD50, which is a higher wattage. So that tells us what size head to purchase. All right. Now, the reason we don't want a CD60 at 8 feet is, one, I can feel this. I'm 6'3". If this was at 8 feet, we're gonna have a Home Alone situation, and we're gonna have to be dunking our head in the toilet because our head's gonna be on fire. All right. So we want to calm down a little bit on thinking we want a 60 inch at 6, 7 feet. Not a good idea. We want that 60 inch around, you could probably do 9 if it's real open and uncovered, but 10 feet is a good rule of thumb for this guy. So that's why the height is really important. Also, we talked about, as a good example, what is the space being used for? All right, so most of the time, we're gonna have multi-use space. We may have a cooking area, like let's see here. Let's look at this space, for example. So you can see they have one above a sitting area, and then they have another one right above a table. Now, if I was designing this, I would have put one right here. So when I'm barbecuing, I can feel nice and toasty. That's just me though. That's what I would do. So we usually have multi-use space. All right, so then now we figured out, all right, let's say, for example, they're 10 feet. So I know I want 60 inches everywhere. Now, how many do you need? Let's go look at what they recommend. Okay, so here's an example of their coverage area. So you can see they have the 30, the 40, and the 50 are the same size, just a little bit more powerful, and the CD60. So you can see they show the 60 as mounted higher, and basically from the heater, they're saying that's the coverage area. So essentially they're saying a CD30 covers 7x7, 8x10, 9x10, and the biggest one, an 11x11. Okay, so I'm gonna give you an example if that coverage is adequate or not. All right, so they're saying a CD60, let's use the CD4000. It was a 9x10, I think they said it covered. Let's just say, for simple math, a 10x10. So they're saying one of them will cover a 10x10 area, right? So my patio is 10 feet by 20, okay? So I got 10 by 20. So based on their theory, you could say, maybe I'll put one heater here and one heater here, right? Now I'm in good shape. Does our math work? Now, in theory, I think it could do a fairly good job, but we have a saying in the heating business. We sell fireplaces, fire pits, we sell basically everything fire. Our saying is, not having enough heat is a problem, right? Having too much heat is simply an inconvenience. So I always oversell, not for the sake of selling, but for the sake of comfort, because we want our clients to be happy. More heat than you probably need, because guess what? You can always turn it down. Always, no problem, easy peasy. So here's my patio. I'll just show you what I do for my patio and how awesome it works. So I have a 10 by 20. I essentially doubled what they told me to do. So my layout is I have basically a couple chairs here. I got a couch over here, another couch over here, got a fire pit here, some fire, more chairs here, and then a coffee table right here, okay? So that's sort of that situation. Now you could do one heater here and one heater here, like I said, but here's what I did. I put one heater CD40 here, one CD40 here, one CD40 here, and one here. So I put 4 in. And they're at a 45-degree angle. So essentially, if this is the wall that they're mounted on, I have them basically just like this, all right? across from each other. And because they're across from each other, they actually like intersect the heat. So you get like double the heat right in the middle. I like doing that because you're doubling up on heat, and then we can always turn down if we need to. All right. So that's how I have them. I basically have 4 of them mounted just like that, and it works wonders. So I always recommend sizing more than you need. So usually 10 by 10 space. If you have the option to mount and crisscross, I think that's the best way to do it. Now we can't do this if we're flush mounting in a ceiling. So if I was doing this flush mounted in a ceiling, what I would probably do is put one here, and put one here. Kind of 3, flush mounted in the ceiling, boom, 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 and it would kind of be heating all the spots in there. That could be another way to do it in a flush mount setting. Now I have a gable roof, so I can't flush mount them. So I basically have them installed just like this, 45 degree, intersecting each other. Imagine on this putting green, you had one on each side of the putting green. So that's the way I do it, and it works perfect. So I always recommend going bigger or more heaters than what the manufacturer recommends. So essentially it's really simple. I'm gonna show you these steps again. Think about your install application, what you're using the space for, okay? How high are they gonna be mounted? Then that tells us whether we want the 40 or the 60 essentially. We almost never sell 30s, so it's really 40s and 60s. Decide between those 2 head sizes. Then we can think about the actual layout of the space and just double up what you think you need. You don't have to, but I hate selling stuff and people are like, man, I'm so unhappy with that. And that's a bummer. Nobody likes that. As salesmen, we don't like it. As the owner of the company, I don't like it. And certainly as a homeowner, you don't like it. So that's not good. So buy more than you think you need. If you want help to figure out the controls, again, watch this video or call and text us. If you're doing a restaurant, outdoor golf course, hitting bays, whatever's going on, whatever you got going on, call us. We can help you. We can figure out how to heat any space. We are the experts in heating. Call us. We'll help you out, hook you up, because there's nothing worse, in my opinion. Let's say you build an expensive golf bay and everyone's uncomfortable. You build a $30,000 outdoor kitchen, nobody's comfortable. If we can extend the use of your space, we can get an extra 100 days of use. Would you do it? Would you spend a couple $1,000s? The answer is yes, all day long. Spend the extra money, get yourself some good heaters, but make sure you know how to size it. Hopefully this video helped you. We'll see you next time.